last week. We should be live on the YouTube channel now. What's up, house party people? Welcome back for another house party. How's everybody doing?
Hello, YouTube. Doing good.
Hey-o. That was that felt like the podcast intro. Little madness.
Independently verifying BRB.
Word, yeah, and welcome to Garett on this display. Kinchasa, our guest this week.
Hey, everybody.
Thanks for joining us. We'll
thanks for having me in the house.
We will jump into that in a second. But first, the welcomes, intros, etc. coming out of Gotta Find That Window House Party.
Yeah, so last week we did a really awesome talk with some of the Raid Guild folks, but it didn't get recorded. So
that's my lack of
it's growing pains, but it's cool because we can always do Raid Guild anytime. But I'm Deacon with DAOhaus and Raid Guild and a whole bunch of other places. So love hanging out in the house party. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Word. Cool. First up, we got updates from the house. Housework.
Oh yeah, we should really prepare better for that.
With an A. Yeah, all good. I basically aggregate them out of our Monday meeting anyway, so. But first up, because it's the most fun, is Magesmiths. Well, for one, we now don't have a record of last week's tease of the interface, so we could do that again.
True.
If you're game, I mean, honestly, we could do it every week because, what's the overlap here? You know.
Yeah, true. I can zoom around in the background here.
Otherwise, Deacon, just kind of general updates. What do you guys? There's some cool housebot stuff happening.
Yeah, we got some more stuff with notifications, a discourse integration, more interesting design talks, and we did our kind of the start of the rollover from design into implementation. So had a meeting between the designers and the devs. We started looking at all their mock-ups, which Ben can do a little tease of if he wants, but starting to see and spec out really what we got in store for us and as developers, and it's looking pretty cool. Besides that, we've just been doing a lot of bug fixes, trying to get the current code base into a place that's going to be nice for us to work in over the next few months, and dealing with a bug where the column found in Metacartel Ventures where the graph, because of the number of tokens they had and the number of users, we had a problem with that, but it's super boring. Don't need to get into the tech stuff of that. But
it's always worthwhile to hit or at least acknowledge that tech stuff, right? Because lest one believe that you can take the designs that you look at here and go, why can't you just make it click? Which is a thing that a client has said to me on more than one occasion. Well, I don't understand why you need $100,000 for this. Like, oh no. How do I explain? And then we've been working on the forum stuff a bit. For me, that's pushing forward I guess we can kind of skip out a turn to the Rangers. We are moving into working on tutorial content, some how-to kind of stuff. So part of that is the forums for us. So if you're listening to this, ping us on Discord. Ultimately, jump into the forums. That would be a great place to help me start working on where we need how-to videos and things like that.
Yep, we'll have kind of a full support wiki in the discourse. That'll be really nice. And then you got that article that you're working on about the transmutation. I think that's going to be really cool when that comes out. And in the alchemist side, the tokenomics, transmutation was kind of our DAO flavor, or our flavor of DAO for DAOhaus DAOs, and now we're looking into how to do kind of a distribution of our house token. I don't want to give any alpha leaks here, but it's going to be pretty cool, and it's going to be really good for any users of DAOhaus.
So we got that post coming, and then I'm gonna have a guest on the podcast this week, I think, talking about transmutation, sort of very outside perspective, so that'll be fun. And we got Peter Pan on the schedule for next week's house party, which is always a trip. Which we'll be doing at a different time, so we'll bug everybody about that.
What time are we doing that one? Do you know?
Twitter. 2 hours earlier.
Oh, cool.
So 11 a.m. my time is the plan.
I mean, it might be a good idea to like move a little earlier in the future anyway. This is a good time for like some Americans.
For sure.
Earlier is nicer for like some
I follow the community sentiment on it, so this one won a vote at some point until another wins another vote. Here we are. And then Paladins, they've been starting some work on what it looks like to pull bookkeeping info off of a blockchain, ultimately to deal with inevitable things like taxes.
Right. Yeah, we're a DAO, but we still have to do things in the real world. So yeah, Paladins rule.
Rock on. I think that's everything we got for that. So let's move on to talking to Garett. Right
NFTs.
on. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, NFTs and the Interwebs of Value is what he and I came up with. Mostly Garett. You're muted in case you're talking, Garett.
Oh yeah.
Garett's
a
Raid Guild member, contributor of the pixel animations for our intro video, among other things, as well as the text of the ballad portion. That's really how it started. Yo, I wrote this ballad. Can we do something with it?
Yeah,
Deacon
really
great.
Still wants that Instagram. I don't blame him. It's fun,
I
man.
love that.
Guildsmen and guildsmaiden.
Right, but we have spent the most of our time talking about NFTs and like weird things like metaverses and where I can go to pop a VR headset on and look at some art. So yeah, I mean,
I think it's it's such a good time to just kind of talk about NFTs because it seems like they're getting a little like resurgence in their use cases and in their popularity, and the stuff that's going on crypto Twitter. Like, didn't someone say like I could just take a screenshot? Doesn't that mean that it's the same thing? Or
yeah, that was a big kerfuffle around that.
Yeah, actually, what?
Yeah, because it was somebody like Pomp. There's somebody who's willfully misunderstanding the idea of digital scarcity, like in bad faith. If they believe in Bitcoin, they should understand why this works, and they're just maximalisting all over the internet.
Look at the money. I mean, there's enough perceived value out there to lend credence to the idea. Then there's no reason why you can't wrap your head around it when you look at the $100 million milestone that happened a few months ago. I know there's some wash trading that people like to pour cold water on it right away, but there's some real sales going on. It's cool. I don't know if you follow Super Rare, but they just redid their website and you can follow the market as you see along the bottom, and it's got just the top artists just clocking huge bucks. Just Pac out there just doing his monochrome 3D rendered art, is really hot. But yeah, the NFT space in general is just heating up big because I think a lot of people are realizing this is a new way to package digital goods, and that's never really been feasible before. And I like to kind of say, cryptocurrency is great. ERC20s are money. Everybody likes money and they want more money, but they want more money for things and experiences and status symbols. And so that's what NFTs are, is really everything else that's not money. So when you come out swinging like that, they're just like, okay, well, show me then if it is everything and everything. So we're starting to see, like you said, Deacon, those use cases are starting to crop up. You see Yearn doing insurance as NFTs, for crying out loud, you know? So it's really exciting, yeah, seeing the meme stuff. You know, I like the notion of DeFi, like staked NFTs, and I think these early inklings are really exciting. I just hope it's not too complex for some folks too, but yeah, we're gonna start to see some sweet composable NFTs crop up, which is gonna be sick.
Yeah,
But,
so with the NFT and like the comment you made about the experience, you know, that's really true, and I haven't really seen that much. That buying anything or any art or anything, you know, it is about that experience, and that you have like layers of that happens in crypto, because you have super easy like secondary markets, and you have ways to share and display and prove ownership and prove, you know, those are really kind of cool things.
yeah, definitely. And I'm like really, you know, big on crypto art and pixel art as a subset of the crypto art, subset of NFTs, subset of crypto. You know, it's getting really layered. And when you start to look at how they work in conjunction with each other though too, you know, it already is kind of composable when you think about virtual reality. You know, like I could share my screen and, you know, quickly flex my crypto art collection. You know, you've got your X copies, your JSFs, you know, just some OG crypto art anywhere and everywhere. And what's cool is it's like a 24/7 marketplace. You know, you can buy these in world, you know, through an OpenSea embed. So it's it's cool. And you know, Ben Nolan, the lead dev, over there at CryptoVoxels, was talking about possibly incorporating tickets and having, you know, exclusive, you know, viewings of art galleries as they're unveiled. So you've got 3 NFTs there kind of working in conjunction. NFT of the art in the gallery of the digital real estate that's an NFT, and a ticket to get access to that parcel. So it's really kind of fascinating just seeing all those things work together. So once you start talking about DeFi staked NFTs, it's going to get wild, because these are tickets. These are, you know.
Should we back? I mean, is it worth backing up like half a step and just kind of doing the, like, what's the top level? Give me the top level on what an NFT is.
Yeah. So for the uninitiated, an NFT is an acronym for non-fungible token, and people are trying to rebrand that as Nifty. You know, it's a Nifty. Those are Nifties, man, and I like that, but I also just shy away from, you know, the explanation that comes with that, because whenever you say the word fungible, people's eyes cross and they wince and, you know, twitch. What the hell did you say to me? So I try and avoid the word fungible at any expense. But it's kind of a helpful, you know, it's a very accurate term. Don't get me wrong. So I kind of gravitate toward crypto collectible though for it, is that people kind of understand, you know, when you come out opening, hey, do you know Bitcoin, like that cryptocurrency? So its younger brother, Ethereum, you can like put digital products on and sell for cryptocurrency and make this magical internet money for stuff that your, you know, creativity, like, you know, output kind of enables. So it's cool because it's a new form of digital scarcity. These are digital goods, and you can resell them and speculate on them. And I've personally made buco bucks on it. I have a few crypto collectibles I sold out of super rare for like $7,000. You know, it did pretty well. It was really hard to see them go, but you know, yeah, and that's the thing. You get attached to these things because they're
right. Yeah, exactly.
Some of these that were big in the last bull run in 2017, like CryptoKitties and CryptoPunks, and these are all kind of coming back now in their second wave, it seems like.
Oh yeah, and CryptoPunks are OG, and it's exciting because they did predate the ERC 721 standard. So now that you can wrap them and make them compliant with that, there's just way more liquidity, and people have just, you know, gotten way more bullish on it, I guess, as a result. So you're seeing, yeah, CryptoPunks, these 24 by 24 pixel artwork selling for, you know, 5 ETH is like the floor now.
And they're programmatically generated, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Like they're not like, they're just like a bunch of like set of pixel elements, I think, that are composed programmatically, I think. Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's
So.
understanding.
Well, they were all issued initially, right? There's not new ones. There was like
right, yeah.
Initially.
It's a 10,000 punk hard cap.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, they kind of subscribe to the Bitcoin limited supply, true digital scarcity, and I think that their generative art is really even cooler because it's just an example of a fascinating technology in a technology in a technology. You know, I mean, they're very meta. So yeah, the punks are the OG crypto collectible for sure. That's why I rock mine on all my avatars, because, you know, represent.
So I think it's worth.
An interesting thing with what you just said with being 10,000 cap on an NFT. That means there's actually only 10,000 of them. It's interesting when you think about a fungible token like Bitcoin. There's a cap on it, but it's divisible, right? You can have 0.0001 Bitcoin, and so even though there's the cap of 27 million or whatever it is for Bitcoin, I mean, you can divide that down as far as you want to where it's nothing.
Yeah.
But you can't divide a CryptoPunk. It's just one.
Well, in theory, you know, you're not supposed to be able to, or at least that was the initial conception. But now there's stuff like Niftex, which issues ERC20s sort of in a smart contract sharding an NFT, so it creates added liquidity to NFTs for really high value ones that you want to kind of distribute ownership of.
So you can fractionalize ownership, but not necessarily. Yeah, so I think, like, to bring it sort of back to the spicy tweet space we were talking about, fundamentally it's using the same cryptographic and sort of like the blockchain tools to introduce scarcity in this space. The coy comment from the bullshit tweet was like, I just screenshotted it, now I have your thing, right? And so I mean, the reason that's a thing is because, you know, in the art space, it's attached to an image file, right? Like that NFT is calling a file, and that file's got to live on a server somewhere or something, and it gets pulled up, and then it's used as part of this software package that makes it so you can like put that artwork in your virtual gallery. But like the cryptographic backend provides the scarcity, and anyone who can understand Bitcoin understands that introduces this new dynamic where, like you said, if your smart contract limits it to 10,000 copies, then you have the effective equivalent of 1 of 100. Like, I have concert posters around my house that are 1 of 250, and they're actually literally treated differently under copyright law because they're part of what's called a numbered series. Like, none of this is new stuff, and the idea that we can't apply digital scarcity that we have now to it, and then everything will be, like, at the very least, like you said, there's money in these markets. It's happening. So it doesn't even matter what that blowhard was talking about. Like, it's on, and sorry, and you don't believe in it.
And the thing is he's forgetting, I guess, that like these, you know, artists are establishing, you know, intellectual property rights in some respect. They're asserting ownership over this work, and they're establishing that provenance. This is this thing being birthed into the world, and that's this, you know, timestamp that the blockchain, you know, enables because it's this nuclear resistant like database, you know, distributed all over the world, and it's a very good method of proving this is the origin of this thing. And so it's still a situation, people still want the technology to solve for all the like gaps that can happen. It is still very much a buyer beware market. You know, you have to do due diligence on what artists are worth investing in. And do they have a brand? You know, because there are open platforms like Rarible, which allow anyone to come and mint artwork. So yeah, someone could screenshot, mint on Rarible, but have no identity and have no brand associated with them. So who's going to buy that NFT? You know, so gated platforms have been, you know, kind of the gold standard because it does a lot of that for you. So you've got your super rares, your known origins, async, stuff like that, that really do due diligence and vet artists. because that's a good experience. It's a curated experience. But there's, a line to walk to on this and openness of an open platform like Rarible. So while they get a lot of flack, I got to give them some kudos for dropping the Rary token, trying to kind of rein in the wash trading and the quality issues that kind of come with it. But it's a little bit warts and all right now when you go on Rarible. But yeah, I still respect the that openness, just for lack of a better word. So that's cool. But yeah, NFTs. I mean, art. This is just one very, very small wrinkle in the grand scheme of things. When you think about like enterprise blockchain technology applications, and you start to think about NFTs are a marketer's dream in my mind, because this is something that could be minted as a smart loyalty program. You could have NFTs represent loyalty points and become smart coupons and offers and stuff. I mean, there's just endless opportunity. It doesn't make sense right now with the current price of gas, but if something was done on XDAI and Matic and stuff, it's perfectly reasonable to think that you could create value to consumers and try and interact with them in a new way. And what's exciting to me is just this mass convergence of technologies, because that's the thing about blockchain is it's a cool technology, but it's always way more interesting in conjunction with another emerging technology. So you see it with virtual reality, and it's an awesome application for the art galleries and stuff. I've got an art gallery in my pocket, but think about IoT. Think about Internet of Things connectivity and how those data points can tell a story of a product and resonate with the consumer by having more stories to mine and to like convey the authenticity of a product. I mean, it's very, very potent for powerful copywriting stories. And I have a concept, I can elaborate on that because people want to know a use case. Well, elaborate. I can go into it. But yeah, sorry to cut you off. Deacon, were you going to chime in?
Oh, no. I think this is super interesting. I was just going to say, like, the use cases really, there are a ton. Like, we were even thinking in the DAO space of DAO issued certificates and achievements and stuff like that. Like a DAO actually being able to own something as a participatory group, decide that this is an achievement for this person doing some great thing. And we're going to give it to this person, and this isn't just like some random thing that we're giving. Like everyone in the DAO has decided that this has value for whatever reason, or that you deserve to be recognized by having something.
Yeah, and that's a powerful symbol, in society. NFTs are things, experiences, and symbols, and it's a powerful status symbol. But it's not just beating your chest.
Yeah, and I think one of the novel things is, when you're talking about an open standard, like loyalty points isn't a new thing, right? Like I constantly think of Starbucks because I earn and spend their points on an ongoing basis. And I think they transitioned to a blockchain system sometime in the last 2 years because it's just the best way to keep an intermediate database in some contexts. But like the open sort of standard makes it so that like I could run a whole separate thing based on your loyalty points if I wanted to, which is a really interesting dynamic. I can't spend Starbucks. Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword, for loyalty, because if you create an open marketplace with liquidity of loyalty points, you're farming loyalty points. Is that really generating loyalty? Is that, serving the use case well? And I would contend it does, because the use case that I came up with for coffee as an application, because I've scoured every vertical and I have searched for high and low for these use cases, and of course they're available creative branded domains, because I'm the third largest ENS name whale, of course, in the space. And so that's kind of the strategy behind my startup studio, CrowdFounder, is positioning ourselves in the Ethereum ecosystem and being ready for when this technology is ready to build, spin out companies, and share that equity with people who want to build them. So coffee is a fascinating use case because not only does it benefit significantly from the provenance component of blockchain, but with IoT enabled, provenance, you can tell a really compelling story and improve product quality. So my concept was coffee stamps. Okay, so coffee stamps are a generative art little stamp of coffee beans, and they're all unique. Maybe it's pixel art, maybe it's something else. But those stamps are a loyalty point for when you buy that cup of coffee, right? But you get 3 bean stamp when you shop at your home coffee shop, as noted by your GPS, and you establishing that coffee shop as your home shop within a 2-week time lockout period. But you get a 1 bean stamp if you shop outside of that home coffee shop or chain. So, situation where you can have an interoperable coffee loyalty program that works between coffee shops, and they can plug in and kind of create their own loyalty cooperative and fight the Starbucks with this really novel, interesting application. But IoT comes into play. So look, we solved for true loyalty and yet created liquidity in that loyalty program. That's fascinating. Back it up to IoT. You double click that stamp and you see, oh wow, the IoT sensor from when this coffee bean was picked, the soil acidity was the temperature and the humidity in transit was this. The coffee was roasted at this temperature. Holy crap, I can see all that, and all that data was rolled up into one thing that connects me very deeply with that product. And it's those human touch points that are what are really going to make this blockchain application fascinating. So yeah,
if it was all on chain, you can see like these loyalty points, because like you said, it could be for multiple places. Like maybe Starbucks has their contract, they're issuing NFTs or whatever, and then Seattle's Best, which I guess they're actually the same thing, right? But your coffee shops would have their different loyalty points, but then you could have like a something that curates all of these, and then you could have like vampire attacks by smaller coffee shops. Like if you've had 9 cups of coffee at Starbucks, you can get your 10th cup for free here.
This is almost perfectly like, whenever we talk about vampire attacks in the other context of crypto, I always think of, I don't know, there's been many different versions of skits like this, where it's just like the giant grocery chain and the small grocer across the street having a war of putting up stupider signs to try to catch customers from the other, topless shopping. Like, what, does it draw people in? Yeah, but is it worth the victory? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Pyrrhic victory.
Yeah.
Other use cases, like you mentioned ENS, that you're an ENS whale, and that's actually how ENS works, is with NFTs, and maybe some people don't know that, but that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, you beat me to it.
It's actually really powerful that they became ERC 721 compliant, because I don't know if you've ever tried to sell a traditional DNS domain name, but it's a convoluted process. The friction of an ENS name sale is zilch, even with exorbitant gas prices. It costs $10 to port out a DNS name, much less just selling it. So that as an NFT is actually really powerful for avoiding squatting.
Yeah, so like, let's break that one down. So usually if you want to buy a domain name, you go to what? Like GoDaddy, and then you buy the thing, and they're kind of like this broker that helps you buy it, and then they hold all your information in the place in the middle. And if you want to go do anything with that domain, first off, you got to go to GoDaddy. But then there's all these other intermediaries. Like, to sell a domain name through GoDaddy, you have to unlock a thing, wait 2 days, answer an email, copy a code, send the code to them. They have to put the code in. Then they have to, it's like there's 10 more steps to just sell you a domain name, which is ultimately like just my sort of intellectual, I suppose, ownership of the right to use the kerp.com or whatever, right? The NFT solution, you just have an NFT, and that's the name, and you go to different interfaces, and they all talk to the NFT, and if someone else holds the NFT, now they get to manipulate the domain. It's so much stupid simpler.
It's incredible. It's actually like, it's one of those instances where I don't know if people realize, like, this is a 10x. This is 10x better than DNS. As an owner, as a user right now, it's a little bit tricky because you have to append .link to the end of the .eth with which to browse it without having a special extension on a normal browser. But you can still get to these websites, and they're also email addresses for money. Wow, awesome bonus. You can send money directly to Kinchasa.eth. It's magic. I mean, that's awesome. This is a huge win for the crypto ecosystem because we're abstracting away complexity. You know, you're able to send something like an IM address, you know, with money. So it's a huge win. I'm super bullish on them. I honestly think in 3 to 4 years, you know, we're going to see ENS, you know, potentially unstoppable. Who knows who the, you know, real front runner is going to be, but these could be air traffic control centers for digital native, smart contract driven businesses. Like these could be hubs for the next big sharing economy that crop up. You know, I think you look at the Airbnbs and the Ubers of the world and stuff, and crypto is drawing a target on their back. You know, for better or worse, there's companies like Arcade are trying to change the way the sharing economy works and make it peer to peer with crypto, and that's going to disintermediate these intermediaries. You know, and so there could be unicorn blood in the streets in 5 years. Who knows?
So you're also a whale on Pixel Chain, right? You're a really good pixel artist yourself. And also it shows in some of your projects like CrowdFounder. Do you want to talk about CrowdFounder at all or anything like that?
Yeah, sure. First off, though, I'll share my fine pixel art gallery. Shall we look at some of the pixel art I've collected? Yeah. This thing is awesome. It just died. But I've got these I just collected. You got the Tiananmen Square inspired Tank Man. You got Marilyn Monroe. You know, Son of Man. It's just way too much fun collecting these. It's super addictive. But yeah, you can curate them and create your own little experience. And so pixel art, you know, to me is a really fun way to level the playing field because anyone can do it. And companies like Pixel Chain, the guys behind Crypto Motors, they, you know, built this pixel art dApp that mints this NFT 100% on chain. That the hexadecimal color codes are all on chain. So these are essentially like cave paintings. You know, these are like crude drawings that when Ethereum is 300 years old, you know, you can still decode even if that hosting company is out of business. IPFS maybe dies or Crypto Motors goes under. You can still decode this pixel art. So to me, that's like the most durable human conceived image.
Yeah. Is that actually stored on chain or is it on?
Yeah, 100%. That's why they're so expensive to mint right now. $35 to mint a pixel chain. And there's some guys that'll still do it like Hackatow, some of the big name artists, because Modrats swoops in an ETH and a half. So,
That's really cool.
But yeah, so pixel art's fun. I like it. It's great. But yeah, CrowdFounder really kind of adopted pixel art as its like, you know, brand image because it was easy to do for me. I'm not a great artist for vector, you know, art and stuff. So I went full bore on the pixel train. But yeah, CrowdFounder is cool because it's a startup studio, which, you know, those of you who aren't familiar with the model, that's sort of a large category for serial businesses. It's essentially like a serial entrepreneur approach toward building minimum viable products, spinning them out, and matching up founders to head them up. So there's venture builders, you know, who come in with money and incubate ideas internally. There's some that take ideas inbound. There's all sorts of flavors, but Ideal Lab was the pioneer of it by this gentleman, Bill Gross, in the 90s. And it since has kind of become a very popular studios pop up here in Milwaukee, you know, and smaller towns and stuff. And you're seeing it as a way to fail fast and iterate fast and see what sticks. So that's sort of the notion behind the startup studio. So CrowdFounder is a homegrown incubated startup factory, and right now we're focusing just on NFTs. We're trying to drum up a base hit, and the first project we're focusing on is Rapigram, and it's a machine learning powered beat maker, audio collectible minter. So it's collectible hip hop. We're trying to repackage rapping in an interesting way and create ownership over it. So we've got a beat maker, you know, we're working on. So this is this really ghetto, thing that Yusuf threw together, and you go to the Rapagram thing and generate a beat with machine learning. And
Oh
you literally are making music super easy to create, but then focusing on the craft of freestyle and packaging that in an NFT. So it's cool because Rapagram is trying to kind of restore rights back to the consumer as much as it's trying to empower creatives to create content with their craft and rap. So when the digital transformation happened and we went from CDs to MP3s, you lost the right to resell that MP3. You can't resell that music. It's not in the user, end user license agreement. So we're making it so you're investing in these artists, not just buying their music because it's got a speculative nature because it's crypto. And if that rapper blows up, if they keep creating awesome content, those rapagrams, those time-stamped little pieces of art could become worth more money. And so it's a
Will
fun
you
way
create
to just
one right now for us?
Yeah.
Will you
Can
do
I
a little
create one?
freestyle
Yeah,
right
you
now?
guys want me to throw down a freestyle? We don't have the NFT minter hooked up just yet. We're working on noise cancellation software right now so that you don't have to wear headphones when you rap. It's just going to make it more accessible for more people to create on it. So Yusuf, who's in the Raid Guild, is partnering up with me. He's a bona fide partner of CrowdFounder. He's an awesome guy. And then I got a machine learning guy, Zakuto. He goes by on Discord, doing the ML side of things. Yeah, that's the project we're focused on. Oh, yeah. Did you not hear it?
I couldn't hear it. Give us a beat.
Okay.
That might
you don't
be.
actually have to lay down the freestyle.
We might not be able to thread this into the.
You guys hear that?
You'll probably have to unplug your headphones.
A little bit.
Or put your headphones by the mic.
Oh, okay.
That might do it. Production.
Some of them are really bad. Some of them are actually
hackery.
really cool. So let's. Yeah, not sure how well that's working right now, but
Super cool though.
but yeah, it's super fun. And just to back up, CrowdFounder is essentially the platform. It's trying to just seed. We're trying to seed the platform right now and just be a really hyper focused NFT factory. But ultimately, crowdfunding could be a thing like crowdfunding became a thing. And when you think about supercharging a startup studio as a DAO, you start talking about a really fascinating way in which to found companies as a crowd and use that hive mind to create really fun things. So CrowdFounder, has a lot of digital real estate in domains that it tries to bring to the table, but we're trying to kind of cultivate partners and experts. We're seeking right now sort of an entrepreneurship and residency with Outlier Ventures out of the UK and a couple other studios that are steady hands who know how to run a startup studio and maybe have a war chest to help it get off the ground. But yeah, so it's ambitious for sure. And I got Skater Die, and then Tats.eth is another project in the DAO. Got Kickstarter for skate decks, and then ultimately phase 2 of Skater Die would be to reinvent going pro and being sponsored and changing and almost like you could stream your tricks at a sesh and get micro tips for it, or have a sponsored sesh by an established brand, things like that. So starting out small though, just with tokenizing skateboard designs, kind of like Crypto Skateboards is doing with MLIBTY, that artist, Middleby. He does crypto skateboards on Super Rare. And then Tats is a composable. This would be a DeFi NFT. So it's essentially taking our dye and staking it to a tattoo design. And what's isn't just another NFT. We're trying to immortalize people's tattoos on Arweave and IPFS, mirroring the two. And so you kind of create this cool, hey, this is why I created this tattoo design. And you can tell the story on that NFT, but then have it be burnable and redeemable with our dye embedded. So it could be an interest-bearing tattoo design that you could redeem at participating tattoo parlors. So it's kind of a fascinating way to maybe start trends. You could mint a certain amount of tats, and then once they're gone, they're gone. Yeah, somebody could still screenshot your tat and design it, but you don't have the like watermarked digital clone to go along with it that's going to outlive you. So it just is kind of a fun concept.
I mean, to
yeah,
me,
stop me anytime. I'm rambling here.
I think ultimately,
I don't want to stop you. Shit's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I think to me, it gets interesting when you hit the metaverse space because, like, I mean, a tattoo is a great example, right? Like, it has a particular meaning in like society and culture and et cetera because of the sort of personal nature of having this thing branded on your body. Also, there's scarcity. Like, there's only so much body. It's on your body, so it's not on anyone else's. Like, and that's the thing that you can't. It's with digital reproducibility, without scarcity in a digital ecosystem, you can't have like a verifiably similar experience. Like, you can't have a similar experience of tattoos for your like avatars in Fortnite without this, right? And the notion of the NFT and what that creates is the thing that makes it so that you could have, you know, a legit tattoo that's only yours and can only be on your Call of Duty Ranger, you know, whatever, right?
Yeah,
like this
as a pure digital, that'd be cool.
Right? So
there's a guy who recently tokenized a bunch of sections of his skin and sold them on OpenSea have people like put their own tats on it. Which this is all gonna get very weird, and crypto's gonna get very weird, and I think we should all stay weird and get more weird. But yeah, it's gonna be odd a little bit in some respect. But
should we hit you alluded to it earlier, but we didn't really explain it, the wash trading piece? Because I don't know, I have things to say about that. It keeps coming up. It's one of those detractor things where people are like, it's all just people laundering money in digital art.
Yeah.
And I hate to tell everyone,
people, have you heard of cash?
Yeah, or have you heard of real art? Like, I mean, not, you know, I mean, real world art, like,
to avoid tax.
Yeah, buying art for a museum is like an oligarch level move for how to hide $100 million, and it happens at least 3-4 times a month if you follow the fine arts market. It is what it is. It's just like they're just trying to smash the thing, and that'll keep Christie's from being the way that you do it.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up wash trading and some of the seedy underbellies behind NFTs, because it's wild that there is becoming a seedy underbelly to it being still so small, but you're gonna find that in every avenue of life that has a reason to do something. And like, I mean, of course, in 2017 there were all sorts of shady ICOs, but you also got Filecoin out of it, and they're gonna change the way files are hosted and served up all over the world. You know, you have people who earn money in the real world and they do it with cash. But guess what? There are people in Argentina and Venezuela who hold on to cryptocurrency because their money is worth more as toilet paper than it is as fiat. You know, so you've actually got like really compelling use cases for this technology. So I'd happily go toe to toe with people who are going to poo-poo NFTs all being wash trading. Because, yeah, I've sunk a lot of money into it myself, and I've seen some good return on them. And, I mean, I've only recouped like 50% of my investment in NFTs, but my inventory at even a modest valuation is probably 6 figures. So, I mean, that's just my super rares. So it's just like there's liquidity in some of the art. It's not very high. That art is going to be like a market of 1, you know, or 2. There's only so many people who would be willing to fork over that much money for it. But as the market grows, I think we'll see more movement, and NFTs such as digital real estate have a much higher degree of liquidity because real estate, you know, like I said, metaverses are going to capture a ton of value for future work, play, shopping, learning. You know, metaverses are sick, and so land is always going to have a lot more level perceived value. So I think you're seeing a lot of land flipping in Sandbox and CryptoVoxels, Decentraland. So yeah, I mean, is there wash trading going on? Is there money laundering going on? Yeah. But there's also a lot of innovation. There's a lot of innovation, a lot of exciting, good, wholesome people who I've met in the space and have come to call friends. You know, I hang out in the whale community a lot. And, you know, he is an art whale. He's a mysterious figure who is anonymous, who's sunk like $2 million into NFTs and now has a social currency backed by this vault of NFTs, 500 super rares, of 200 CryptoVoxels parcels. You know, I mean, the perceived value I have over that vault is at the market cap of that social currency, and I honestly think it's undervalued. But
yeah, if that turns out to be Banksy.
yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, you can throw stones all day, but yeah.
Has there been any situations of like a rug pull? I guess that's a big topic in these token protocol kind of communities where there's one or two people or a multi-sig that control it, and then they go against the community completely and do a rug pull. It seems like that could happen with an artist as well. Like they have a popular piece of art that they've minted 5 of, and then they decide to mint 5.
Yeah, and I've seen
not really possible.
Yeah, it is definitely possible. And I've actually seen it sort of. And I've seen it by a prominent artist who I still like a lot, and I'm not going to name names, but they just tweaked the art a little bit and reminted it on another platform. Is that maintaining the exclusivity of that piece? No, not quite. Is it going to affect your brand? I think it could. And so while it might not be illegal, while it might not be in good stead of this whole notion of creating digital scarcity and holding true to it, there's always going to be like humans who make decisions and decide to increase supply sometimes on things like that. But yeah, it comes down to a buyer beware thing, where you kind of got to know the market. And if you see that piece cropping up on another marketplace that's awfully similar to another, that's just going to stub their toe in the water, you know?
Yeah,
so,
and that goes into the brand a lot, really, I think, and that's maybe the big difference here between some of the community projects. Is this is like not necessarily, I mean, a community's building around these NFTs, but it is one person and their brand, and they're going to control the price and possibly destroy their reputation by doing something which would lower the price of all the previous things, but maybe not. Maybe that first 5 that were minted are still the first scarce one, even though it was copied.
Yeah.
Minted, maybe.
Yeah, and I've seen. Yeah, and I still respect a lot of their style and what they do. I still own them, you know, and I just happen to know that changing the color of the art doesn't significantly differentiate it enough to where is that above board. So I don't know. I could go either way, and I left that up to the artist's discretion. But yeah, that's one of those things you'll run into. Is that a rug pull? I don't know. It's increasing supply when you thought that there was maybe only one super rare of it, you know? So yeah, but rug pulls entirely I haven't seen.
Yeah, they'd be like CryptoPunks minting like another 10,000 CryptoPunks or something.
Yeah, and Larva Labs obviously wouldn't, but you could have a project come up and try and knock something off, but the market would reject it, you know, because.
So is this where it hits?
Kind of do their due diligence.
So maybe this is the perfect segue to the last bit of the house party here, the Boost Bash. We're talking about, sort of specifically where this stuff overlaps with boosts we could build into DAOhaus that would help DAOs, use NFTs to the benefit of like whatever they're trying to get done, right? I think the bridge from what you're talking about is ultimately like if you gave minting control to the collective group of people who hold the token, you at least sort of can establish this social layer, where you at least have the protection of the community that you're talking about has material power to keep the thing from happening that you were just talking about. That currently is, like you've essentially just described shame, right? Well, then that artist will be shamed. Like, well, I think part of what we're exploring with DAOs is maybe it could be more material than that. If you are also a member of a DAO, associated with that artwork, which is sort of what you were describing with the whale community, I think.
Yeah, like with Whale Shark and the Whale DAO that may be starting, I think that's actually interesting. What kind of things in DAOs would be nice for the NFT community?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it could open up a number of threads. I mean, you've got the idea that a DAO could help facilitate co-creation, and also answer, like the Kerp was saying, the supply of that creation, and where they want to mint it if that's not baked into that sort of ethos and platform. That could be kind of really cool to fork Nifty Inc. and just have multiple people be able to like help create that doodle and then decide on a proposal how much to mint, and so co-creation could be really fun. Yeah, figuring out how a DAO could kind of govern supply of a token. If you were to create a generative art project, using an algorithm, deciding, go to market strategy and stuff could be done with the DAO. But yeah, I don't mean to monopolize. There's who else? How do you guys think a DAO could?
Well, I think like even when we're talking about shark or whale shark and whale DAO, like that use case is actually really interesting too. As basically having this vault of NFTs that the sell or resale on secondary markets or buying new NFTs to add to the vault is also controlled by a DAO, almost as like an index fund or something.
Right. Yeah. So that's what's fascinating about that application for Whale Shark particularly is, could that DAO, pass a proposal to randomly airdrop an NFT onto the community, and which NFT, you could use the DAO to govern rental agreements over a sandbox parcel or CryptoVoxels. Which CryptoKitty or Axie do you want to stud out to breed with another, to create even more kind of perceived value as you kind of pump up. Wow, this is a really rare Axie. All right, we're going to make some noise for this Axie who wants to, hop in the sheets with this creature, this battle creature.
That's another really interesting use case of a DAO, like a DAO playing a game together, some of these NFT games, and they're like making decisions on how to play together through proposals.
Yeah, that could be really cool too. I mean, and that's the thing is, as you guys like DAOhaus, I mean, seeing Moloch and stuff like this, the interface on mobile, I think for Moloch DAO is phenomenal, but it's just, over time and these iterations come through, it's going to start to gamify NFTs. DAOs are going to really be a kind of like a powerful framework. That'd be really cool to see them play nice together in time.
Mm-hmm.
I can say,
and wallets are important too. Seeing DAOs, I mean, you see the browser and the wallet converge. You see traditional desktop browsers adopting wallets a la MetaMask. You'll start to see DAOs maybe baked into wallet, just like that browser as like a native app. And maybe you'll start to see breeding CryptoKitties right in wallet. NFT forward wallets are going to become a thing, I hope, in time. I mean, I put that into the Untitled NFT Hackathon. Was we need to start seeing a wallet where we can collect and curate and organize our NFTs and maybe even interact with them.
What is the best wallet for NFTs right now?
There isn't one, dude. And I've scoured high and low. I mean, MetaMask is a good experience, but they don't register NFTs. They don't make all the calls and have them show up. You have to add them manually. No one's going to do that. Trust Wallet shows most of them.
There's no there's no public viewing of a MetaMask's inventory, right? Also, like if you were to like show off, or like if I wanted to go creep on your NFTs and like see what you like, because I like your style typically, and like maybe I'd like to see what kind of artists you like, you know what I mean? And then that would be like greatly accelerate my understanding of the, or help me get to that due diligence part or place like you were talking about.
Dude, that's
really sharing those physical galleries. I mean, your CryptoVoxels gallery is super sick. But yeah, like a native wallet that has that capability, like
OpenSea, right? You can view other people's. You can view NFTs the account on OpenSea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you guys want to creep, yeah, come Google Kinchasa, search Kinchasa in OpenSea, and you can see all my NFTs, and they're organized. You can filter and drill down. OpenSea is a really cool dashboard, and I tweeted at them the other day, hey, there's a big gap in the market for a mobile wallet, NFT forward wallet, and they could dominate. OpenSea could really kind of flank the market with something like that, man.
Yeah.
Rainbow
that's
is
true.
pretty nice, but I think it's only on.
There's a lot of community traction, always has been behind OpenSea. If they did do that, we would all just use it.
I know, sure. Yeah. So there isn't a good wallet, at least not for Android, that I've come across personally. I haven't used Rainbow to know on iOS how good that is handling NFTs, but it's important because these are a gateway drug into crypto, and if we want to onboard the next 10 million crypto users, we're gonna need to come correct with this very, collectibles. Humans we have this innate drive to collect, to hoard, to hold, and now that we're able to take digital goods and make them feel kind of tangible in a wallet, it's important we get that experience right. So I call on all the wallets out there, maybe listening to this stream down the road, let's jam, let's work on user experience and make collectibles a little bit more front center and a hook that we can start to grow the space with.
Mm-hmm.
That feels.
That's a good point for DAOs too. Definitely super stoked on some of the Moloch V3 stuff towards DAOs being able to hold NFTs, and kind of the same thing there. We, on the DAOhaus side, we look at DAOs as kind of just coordination games in general. It's just a coordination game basically, and the DAO just helps you coordinate, but in a fun kind of game-like manner. So and there's totally lots of coordination that can be done around NFTs, like the whale community, for example, and things, and having not only going and creeping on your collection, but if you're part of a greater collective of collectors in a DAO, and then I can go to your DAO and see that inventory or whatever, then that's another scale of that kind of a collectible gallery, that can be shared around and things.
Yeah, one of the things with kind of a collective owning NFTs and this was the issue of rage quit. And so currently on DAOhaus, you can have a minion that could hold NFTs. One of the key things about a DAO that we think is important is being able to exit at any time. But because of the non-fungible aspect of NFTs, how do you handle that? You can't, if you had 100 NFTs, you couldn't just say, oh, you left and there's 100 members, so you get one NFT, because every NFT has their own value. So that's where the thing of a derivative token around index of NFTs might make sense, but then how do you ever remove a token from that index? It's some interesting problems that we can solve.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, what they're grappling with is so the whale token gets you exposure to that vault of NFTs. Yeah, you're describing how do you maybe jettison one of those NFTs or sell it or burn it, if it's garbage, because you would just sell your tokens if you wanted to rage quit, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you rage quit, you get the whale back, I guess, that you've kind of staked into the DAO, and then you can sell your whale, and then you're not in the DAO, so you don't really have that control of saying how to remove a token anymore or whatever. Be in the DAO if you want to be a part of that.
Yeah, you relinquish your say in it. Yeah, that would be cool. That's one of the things Oh, sorry, Ben. What?
Well, we should just do a CryptoPunk DAO where you have to have a CryptoPunk NFT and then to become a member, basically.
Yeah. I think punks are so OG that we should integrate those into ENS too, because they have an avatar content field. So you could associate Kinchasa.eth with your CryptoPunk if it's in wallet. And so as long as you associate which Larva Labs URL, maybe punk in question, you put that in that content field, save it to the chain, you should be able to see your avatar then crop up with your ENS name. But then that could grant you membership in a DAO too, you know, in the way you describe. Yeah, you could see it become this like avatar that follows you around Web3 and like gives you certain experiences. You could get certain experiences because you're OG and you got a punk.
This is why I love crypto. It's just like emergent ideas. Just it can't help, but because of the composability, it just can't help it. You know, these just things just keep coming.
It's like recombinatory genetics of technology.
Yeah, the combination of composability and creativity in the human spirit, right? Like we will create, and if you give us composable things, we'll do some weird shit. It's like
Cat Icon has cheeseburger. Well, that feels like a good place to get out of here. Thanks for hanging out, Garett, and thanks to listeners and watchers. Like and subscribe to all those things. I don't know. Mash that like button. What am I supposed to say to be a YouTuber? Word. Check out DAOhaus.club. And where can people find you on the interwebs?
Kinchasa, you can find me on crowdfounder.co is the website, and then Kinchasa.eth. You'll see my handle on OpenSea in there, and then Kinchasa 5000 on Twitter.
Awesome. Thanks everybody. We'll see you next week.